All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us to discuss the upcoming new elementary school prototype. We will be opening the floor up for feedback after a brief presentation on the background of this project. But before we get started, we have a few housekeeping notes about how this meeting will work. Attendees are automatically muted with the cameras off. Please use the Q&A tool to share your input. You can send this feedback at any time, but we may not get to address your question until the Q&A portion at the end of the presentation. The chat is also available as a backup, but please direct any questions for the panel to the Q&A for a more prompt interaction. We have online a variety of panelists who can contribute to the discussion if needed. I will be introducing them shortly. If you have any technical issues with WebEx, you can reach their support team at 1-866-229-3239, option 2, then option 1. I will also add this phone number into the chat. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted on the OCPS Facilities Communications YouTube page next week. The presentation slides will be posted at facilities.ocps.net and posted on the board member Google's page at www.ocps.net under School Board. Before we get started, let's turn to your OCPS School Board Representative, Pam Gould, for some opening remarks.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here and for participating in this component of our journey to building a new school. It is so important to have the community understand the school, what makes up the school, and of course, get any feedback that you have. At the end of this, I would suggest, since we do have this recorded, that you share it with your fellow community members so that they are completely aware of what's going on, because we want to keep everybody informed. With that, I'm going to turn it back to the team to present the progress of our new school.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Gould. But before the presentation, I'd like to introduce the panelists who are here to help answer your questions. First, we have some of our principals in the area that will be, that this school would impact. Representing Panther Lake Elementary, we have Ms. Christine Sermaski. Representing Water Springs Elementary, we have Principal Matt Hendricks. Also on the line today, we have the area superintendent, Mr. Raheem Jones, joining us. Also on our facilities project team, we have our program management team design manager on the line, Mr. Mo Arthur. We also have our transportation manager joining us. Adam Zabritsky is here. We have our project manager on the project, Ms. Tamara Cox. And Tamara is really the person that is in charge of the project from start to finish. She works with the architectural firm of Schinkel Schultz and our construction manager, Welbro, to make sure the project is built and opens on time. So Tamara is also on the call with us. Also with us, we have representing the architectural firm of Schinkel Schultz. We have Mr. Craig Dobbins with Schinkel Schultz, and we also have Dave Torbert. But presented tonight, representing Schinkel Schultz, is Patrick Roush. Patrick, please take it away.
All right. Well, good evening, everybody. One of the things that we want to first talking about is looking at the overall surrounding context and what's going to be around this new elementary school. Just to give everybody a frame of mind of where we are, this is the Lake County line right here on the left-hand side. Again, Water Spring Middle School is located this blue dot over here. Water Spring, hold on one second. Water Spring Middle School is this blue dot right here. Water Spring Elementary is located here along Water Spring Boulevard. We've got the 429 that stretches north and south on this side, and then the New Horizon High School and also Panther Lake are located on the east side of the context. This red dot right here, right along Atwater Bay Drive, is where that new elementary school 47 EW4 is going to be located. So that just gives you an idea of where this is going to be in relation to the rest of the context. This shows you an enlarged view of the site and where we are as of today right now. Again, the site is located at Atwater Bay Drive, which is located right here along the south. Lost Creek Drive runs north and south along the site over on the east side. And Jawwood Road is located right here over on the west side. So as you can see, and I'm sure you're aware, there are homes along this side of the site along the west and also along the north side as well. There is a proposed future county park, which our understanding is will be built located right through here. But our site is located right here. So this white box, this U-shaped design is the current two-story elementary school that's being designed right now. The way the access points are working into the site, we're currently planning to have buses and service access points come off of Lost Creek Drive. So they would come in through here along the yellow dashed line, and buses would then circle through here, drop off at a covered canopy area, and then they would cycle back out along to the exterior to go out to Lost Creek Drive. This area is also the location for the service drive and also the central energy plant for the rest of the campus. Along the south end, along Atwater Bay Drive, is where the rest of the parent drop-off and parking access will occur. And as you can see along the dashed line here, we call this the conga line, if you will. It will kind of work its way through the parking here, again, to really maximize as much on-site stacking as possible to really make sure that we're reducing as much as we can any of the cars along Atwater Bay Drive or the surrounding roads, and really getting as much stacking on site as we can through here. And then the parent drop-off would occur right at the south edge of the building along another covered canopy for the parent drop-off. Parents would then cycle back through here and then come around this way and then come right out down, again, Atwater Bay Drive as well. A couple of things to point out, we do have two bike racks. There's one located on the south end of the building here. And there's also another one located on the northeast corner of the new building right in this area, both of which are being connected with a wide sidewalk for students to access both of those bike racks depending on what side of the site that they're coming from. This gives you a little closer up view of the overall campus so you can see it a little more clearly. Again, the two-story elementary school is located right here. There is a covered play structure located just on the end of the building here that can be used for stacking or queuing for students and also for athletic amenities. There are basketball courts. We have a youth lot playground and a top lot playground for the smaller students. And then in between these two academic wings of the classroom building and the school is going to be a courtyard area, which is still under design. So it will be designed, still be designed. And then on the north here, we have all this darker green area is currently planned for play fields. There's a little over an acre of play field areas. And again, the basketball court's located right here. And we always have to plan for future portables. So we don't believe we'd have them on day one, but we have to plan for where they're going to go eventually. The idea is that those future portable classrooms will be located right along here, and we have to show emergency access for vehicles to make sure that they meet code from that standpoint there. A couple of other stats or things to point out. The construction budget is $30 million. This school will have 837 student stations. And the site that we just talked about is 15 acres. And we plan on starting construction next summer and opening the school in 2024. Some of the program elements that we're going to incorporate, and this goes back to some of the things that we heard during the last 10% community meeting that we know were important. The new school is going to be designed with obviously new classrooms. We're going to incorporate a Discovery STEM lab, which is more of an immersive kind of science lab space. There will also be an art room, a music room, a cafeteria, of course, / multi-purpose. We're looking at looking at the Innovative Media Center and creating a very nice educational 21st century media center. Advanced technology, sustainable building systems, which we'll talk about in a little bit as well. Physical education amenities. Again, we heard that during the survey from the 10% community meeting that was one thing that was important. So we're incorporating those things as well. Car and bus loops, obviously on site, like we talked about on the previous site plan. And then safety and security was another really important thing that we heard as part of those surveys. And so we're incorporating a single secure point of entry for the design, and also some other safety and security measures that are incorporated as well for this campus. And this design will be incorporated as a new prototype design that will be incorporated for all new elementary schools from 2024 and beyond. So looking forward as well. Regarding sustainability, we are designing to a standard or sustainable design criteria standard, which is Green Globe, a nationally recognized sustainability organization. We're incorporating things like energy efficient building systems, high efficiency chillers at the central energy plant, looking at the roof to help reduce heat gain and improve energy performance from the whole entire building envelope. Incorporating things like energy efficient LED lighting, energy efficient rated equipment. And when it comes to plumbing, we look at water saving toilets, faucets, fixtures, all those things to really help cut down on water consumption. All of the classrooms will have daylighting. And in fact, over 75% of all the spaces will have daylighting. And again, looking at the building envelope and coordinating very efficient, thermal efficient windows at all those classrooms as well. Regarding the overall site, we always incorporate native low water plants. So again, help reduce water consumption on site. And then a low impact design as far as stormwater management is concerned is incorporated on the site also. When we look at the overall schedule for the project, again, we're currently in the design phase right now. This will carry through until the beginning of next year, until we go into a period of permitting and bidding, which will take several weeks. Ultimately starting construction June of next year, and then taking about 14 months to finish the project, opening in August of 2024. We always build in some additional move-in time for things like furniture move-in, testing and balancing, things that are incorporated as part of a typical construction for any project. So the overall construction time will be 14 months starting next summer. So with that, I'll open up to any questions and answers.
Okay, we have one question so far from Melissa. But before I address that question, I do want to acknowledge a couple other participants that are on the call from OCPS. We do have Miss Lauren Roth, who is our assistant director in communications. And we also have Stacy Neal, who is the director for student enrollment. So they're also on the call if you have any questions related to their areas. So thank you very much, everyone. So our first question, I will read it out. And I think, Patrick, you or someone from Shinkle Schultz will have to address this one. Hello, I am concerned about traffic flow in and out of the school. It has been a huge challenge for years at Water Springs Elementary, a quarter of a mile away. This school will mostly serve the community within a 2-mile radius. Will the focus be on flow of traffic for buses or drop-off? The overwhelming amount of students will be walkers. Will the overwhelming amount of students will be walkers or drop-offs? So, Patrick?
Yes. So the first thing I would address is that, just from a vehicular standpoint, one of the things that we did early on is looked at the traffic assessment. There was a traffic report that was done that gave a lot of insight as to where it makes sense to locate buses and cars in relation to the surrounding community and also the surrounding intersections. The traffic report that we were given and we analyzed showed that it really makes sense to have Lost Creek Drive be the primary location for buses. Only because we want to minimize how many vehicles are entering along this drive here. It's not quite as large as Atwater Bay Drive is. So the idea was that by locating the buses up here and really having it kind of come all the way down across the site here, Number one, it's really, really going to maximize a lot of on-site stacking for buses. So as you can see, we're planning on about 38 total buses that could fit just on the site itself, which is pretty significant and should be more than enough to address those concerns. Regarding the vehiculars, again, looking at locating this drive right along here, aligning it with some surrounding context, starting far enough away from this Y-shaped intersection that we have. Again, the traffic assessment indicated this was the most logical, most efficient location to address that stacking. By situating the parking the way that we have, again, we do have really maximized how much stacking is on site intentionally because, again, we want to make sure we minimize any impacts if we can to stacking along Atwater Bay Drive. We know there's a lot of circulation, a lot happening on this road. So this is situated in a way to really keep all the cars on site if possible. And these would typically be double stacking. In other words, until you get to a point where students need to get out of the cars, all this area could be two cars side by side to really maximize all that on-site stacking. And regarding the walkers and bikes, we know that, again, it's a neighborhood school. So I agree that it sounds like there's gonna be a lot of people who are walking or biking to school. So for that reason, we did strategically locate both of those sidewalk access points along Lost Creek Drive and also along Atwater Bay Drive and split up the bike racks. And the sidewalk access points off of both of these roads are actually wider sidewalks to help address some of that also. So we realize that we'll have people kind of coming from all directions and a lot of them could be pedestrian. And so we're trying to plan for that as much as we can by separating the cars and the buses and giving adequate proximity for bike racks and walkers.
Okay, we have another question concerning the traffic impact. What about traffic impact at the entrance to Waterley Community and Roundabout, especially with Publix opening?
I'm not familiar with where that Publix is. If that's down to the south, which is what I'm guessing it is, I'm not quite sure. We do have, like I said, a traffic assessment who looks at all of the development in the area and where all the growth is. And based off of the site that we have and the access points, this was the most efficient way to to alleviate the traffic concerns.
So we will have another community meeting before the construction starts. And at that time, we'll make sure that our traffic engineer is here, attends this meeting and really dive into some of these issues so that everyone understands the impact. So we'll make sure to address this question at the next meeting. John says that Publix is at the main entrance unless traffic cuts through Story Grove. So it's at the main entrance, he's saying. Patrick. Okay. Thank you, John.
So for clarity, this is Tamara Jesma. When he says main entrance, he does mean the main entrance of Waterley, the community. So that's off of Avalon Road.
Okay.
As far as the main entrance is concerned, and as you've already stated, we'll continue to, as we go through this process, we'll continue to monitor and get feedback, particularly even from Orange County, in regards to how the traffic impacts the community as a whole. So I'm certain we'll have more discussions with the community once we come back for the 100% design meeting.
It may be helpful, Jesma, to describe our partnership with Orange County as we plan schools and where we work with them on the road and sidewalk preparation. And then where we kind of pick it up from the
Absolutely.
campus.
Mo, can you expand on that with all the meetings that we have with Orange County government representatives throughout the design process?
Yeah, so part of what we do is we look at how the neighborhoods feed our school, where everybody's going to be coming from, either by car or by bike or the walkers. And so some of the things we started to describe was, you know, as we move off property and the roads become the municipality's jurisdiction, we try to make sure that through meeting with meeting with them that we have a safe path for our students who are going to be coming by foot and coming by bike, and make sure we have those sidewalk connections to our campus. And then also looking at the roadway networks with them, and looking at how we can minimize the impact to our surrounding neighbors, and looking at where it makes sense to bring the cars versus the bus, so we can make sure that the traffic impact to the surrounding neighborhood is minimized as much as possible. And then as we get onto the site, like Patrick explained, you can see the yellow and the purple dashes. We try to bring the traffic from the vehicles off the road as quickly as possible and bring it into our site so we're not congesting the neighboring roads.
And just to clarify what Mo is talking about, so the county, as in Orange County budget, which is what this community resides in, has a cooperative responsibility, right, for roads and sidewalks leading up to the school. And then Orange County Public Schools kind of picks it up from there and tries to help with that traffic management and putting in as many lead pathways onto the campus to offer safety for our kids, as the, because there's mass arrivals and mass dismissals. So there's always that concentration of effort right around the start and the end of school. But just so that you know, it's we can't control the roads. We have to work with the county for that, and they can't control what happens on our campus other than through coding, like P&Z, planning and zoning, and codes. So that's where the cooperative and the partnership and the differentiation in roles and responsibilities is. And if you're new to this process, you might not be aware of how we do it in Florida and Orange County.
Thank you, Ms. Gould. We have another question from Joshua. Will the play field and basketball courts be gated off or open to the Waterley community?
Yeah, there will be a fence or a secure line that does go around the site. So that will be at least fenced off during school time and for safety reasons.
Thank you. Trying to see, I don't see any other questions at this time. So we do have, now that we have Stacy Neal on. Stacy, do you mind giving us an update on the rezoning process?
Good evening. So the rezoning, we've so far, and I apologize for any background noise, but the rezoning process is on the way. We have done the community hearing or meeting where a lot of the public was involved and participated. Then provided input on their choice of options. We have since had the rural development workshop, and the options that were chosen have gone on and will be voted on for the December 6th public hearing. At that time, parents are, able to come in and offer any additional input. The links have been updated and are available for parents if you cannot make the meeting to provide us your input on the ocps.net website. You'll go to school, well, you can go to enrollment and then rezoning, and the rezoning is there, that's in the works. And should you have any other additional questions or concerns, my email is there for you to email, or you may call the office. But once the public hearing happens, you will have a zone at that time, December 6th.
Okay, thank you very much for that update.
You're welcome.
Ms. Gould, I do not see any other questions. Please, we have quite a few participants, so if you have any questions, please let us know. We're here until 7 if need be. Let's see if so. Please get your questions in. We will, I mentioned this earlier, but we will have another community meeting close to the 100% design timeframe, which will be sometime, I would say, around March of next year. Patrick, is that around, does that sound about right?
Yes, that sounds about right.
Okay, so and at that time we'll show the final design. We'll have floor plans. We'll go through some the perspective of the site to give you more of an idea of what the school will look like. We'll also have our construction manager Welbro on to talk about what to expect during construction, because with this school being surrounding neighborhoods, there'll be a lot of activity that they'll explain when things are going to happen, what's going to happen, what time. So that's going to be an important meeting if you live in the area to attend as well, to hear some of the details. Um, um, I do have a question. It's regarding the basketball courts again. She said, Melissa is saying the way you answered, she'd like clarification, Patrick. And she specifically asked, is the basketball court open outside of school hours? Okay, so this is asking in terms of the operational hours, will it be open outside of school hours for, I guess, the neighborhood to use? And Dr. Jones, or one of the principals, would you like to address the operational aspect of the playfields after hours?
Hi, I think we're gonna need to get clarification on that one, just to see what, we'll have to get with legal on that one, just to touch base on that.
Okay.
It really depends. I mean, we have schools that have made arrangements with communities because it's about securing it at a certain time, so that everything is in place and intact. So if you have questions about that, please feel free to email Dr. Jones and myself, and we'll take this question back and figure it out. But it really is on a case-by-case basis, and where it sits within a community and what that cooperative agreement is with each community. Because obviously we want to be a community asset, but at the same time, we want to make sure the school is always ready for school and safe and secure when school starts.
Thank you. Well, I am not seeing any other questions. There was a comment made. I'll read the comment. Site looks good and well thought out for traffic and bus stacking. My request is for the next meeting, if you could have someone on the panel to specifically be able to address the traffic impact for the main entrance to Waterley community off of Avalon Road.
We're gonna
Yes.
need the county for that one.
Right. Thank you, John. We will have our traffic engineer for this project and someone representing the Orange County government here to address that issue. So thank you. We'll make sure that happens.
So let me reiterate my email address, because you can always send things through me, and between myself and my assistant, we'll get it sifted to the right people to answer the details. It's pamela.gould, Gould, at ocps.net. So feel free to send emails in if you think of questions following this. or if some of your neighbors have questions, because they couldn't make the meeting, and we can circulate them and get the answers for you.
Okay. Well, it is 6:32. Ms. Gould, you ready to wrap up?
Yes, well, thank you, everybody, for coming. As Ms. Lambert said, this will be available on my site. We'll push it out through my social media as well as the facilities site so that it can get circulated. Please feel free to share it so that everybody's in the know about it. And we really appreciate your time and always your input and thoughtful questions as we move these projects forward throughout the entire District 4 and especially in the Horizon West area that has a lot of growth. So thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you being here, and we'll see you in a few months.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Have a great evening.
You too.